It took me a while to come back to the game and record something on it because usually when I have to talk about Save the World, there's generally a problem. I can't never come at y'all with positivity, and today is not going to be any different, bro. One thing about it is I generally don't like the game modes that they have outside of going into Canny Valley or Twine Peaks and doing whatever else you need to do to increase your power level. But they made it to where you have to do outside activities in order for you to increase your power level. And if you don't, then you're never really going to level up. You do have like those weekly quests where you get one supercharger that allows you to increase one time on one survivor, when you have to do that 4 times per survivor to max them out entirely. And survivor superchargers are very, very rare and weekly quests. That's another video in of itself where I go in and I basically criticize how bad weekly challenges are. But today we're gonna talk about ventures, because I just got out of a mission and it blows my mind how bad this venture season is specifically, because this venture season points out all the flaws that ventures has as a whole. And while I'm going through the mission and I have to finish it by myself because my teammate disconnects for whatever reason, he's fine. I hope he's alright. It just made me extremely frustrated to the point where there's a reason why I probably won't be able to finish this venture season. There's a reason why I'm at such a low power level, despite the fact that Ventures has been out for like 2 months now. Like, I really could have been finished at this point, but I just can't sit through an entire Venture session because of all these goddamn flaws. And I'm sorry, bro. Like, other people might be able to do it, but I just can't. I think the main reason why I hate Ventures as a whole, and especially this season, is because materials are really hard to acquire. They've been hard to acquire every season except the holiday season, of course, because you have infinite seismic smash. So you don't need to worry about anything. You just put whatever you want in an Outlander loadout and you'll probably be fine that season. Like, that season is really, really easy. They made it really easy for you. But this season is not the same. Materials are hard to get, and I think a part of that reason, or what makes this part worse, is the fact that the map is not really that nice. So there's no metal, so you can't get rotating gizmos or mechanical parts or nuts and bolts in any normal fashion. You have to kill zombies for that, or you have to open up chests and stuff. So you'll put out an Outlander loadout maybe, and you'll go into a mission and you'll try and get materials and stuff. You might be fine for like a little bit with like wood and brick and stuff, but with metal specifically, you're not really using that this season to build, but you're not getting your mechanical parts and stuff to make traps. And traps are extremely important this season because your weapons aren't good. You're gonna need a dedicated loadout for this. And that's another reason why I don't like Ventures, really. I don't like the fact that I have to meticulously have a dedicated loadout to do these things. It makes the pacing of the game really, really slow, in my opinion. I can't just go into a mission and run a minigun or dragon slash build. Wow, my chair is... Sorry, y'all, about my chair. But I can't run those builds consistently because eventually I'm gonna still need mats anyway. So I'd have to switch over to either a constructor or a Outlander, because eventually the missions are gonna get more and more difficult to the point where that 5-second cooldown or that 6-second cooldown, the dragon slash and the minigun, etc., it's not gonna be as beneficial as me running a base and making sure that my traps do more damage, or honestly just making sure that my walls stay strong enough, because if a smasher comes, my guns aren't good and my traps will only do so much to slow him down. Eventually he's gonna reach the build no matter what I do, whether I put tar traps or tire traps or zap traps, etc. It won't stop him entirely. He'll still get to my build, and once he gets there, it's practically wraps. He'll just start charging in and there's honestly nothing I can do. My traps can only do so much, and I'm in ventures for a reason. I'm here to increase my power level so that my traps can be more beneficial, so that I can get my more trap durability survivors, or so that I can make sure that my power level is good enough so that I can protect myself in normal missions, just outside adventures alone. But because my power level isn't really in effect in this place, and the fact that I can't use my own guns, it just makes it tedious. It makes it tedious when I have to deal with smashers in damn near every 4X mission, or I gotta deal with lobbers and flingers damn near shredding up all my trap tunnels. Like, it just gets tedious after a certain point. And that's not even including the fact that a dedicated loadout can only target a specific area. The zombies are coming from everywhere. If I'm using my minigun, I'm spraying at one section to make sure that that section is clear, but Husker coming from behind me as well, so I gotta turn around and spray them too. And it might not be able to cover everything that I needed to cover. And it adds difficulty to the missions, don't get me wrong. That is great. You need that. But because it's so hard, you can really only run this like two ways, which is a constructor build with wall durability and base damage, or a constructor build with recycling. That's pretty much all you can do. And I don't like how much that limits you, especially considering the fact that it takes a while to level up in ventures to get the rewards that you need. So I'll be sitting here in these missions using a very, very slow play style to get through every single mission with whatever 4X it is. And I'm at the point where people might be past me, or the missions have gotten so tedious to the point where nobody wants to do ventures anymore, and I'll have to solo them. I have to start soloing missions, which makes it even worse to try and have a diverse loadout, because if I try and use miniguns, my walls are going to be weak. If I try and use Dragon Slash, my walls are going to be weak, and some sides might be weak because I might not be able to trap them efficiently, because I can't get the materials, because I can't use a dedicated loadout to get the materials in the first place, and I can't kill zombies because my guns are bad, and I can't get guns because I can't get the materials. And even if I do get the materials, I can't even find the vending machines on the map, and I can't find the vending machines on the map because the maps are bad. And I didn't even elaborate on why the maps are bad. The map is bad specifically because there's all these slanted sides and landfills, and it basically puts you in one or two ways in which you can trap them. So you have to either use tire traps or ceiling electric fields, because you can't really put traps on walls. Some walls might not even allow you to place it properly, or even if you do, you can't place traps on the ground because the ground is slanted. There's hills. There's nothing you can really do about those things. So your most powerful traps are basically out of the window, which is freezing traps and tar traps. Those are the traps that you want to use to slow zombies down or to stop smashers in their tracks. You can't really use that. So you'll have to use ceilings and more of wall-based traps to slow them down. And that might not have been so bad if you could consistently have the materials that you need. Now, thankfully, in this season, because I haven't been playing so much, or because I started off, honestly, on a good foot, I've had the materials that I need to do whatever I needed to do. But for early game players, if they're coming into ventures to get the things that they need, whether it's hero superchargers or weapon or hero vouchers, hero vouchers or weapon vouchers and stuff, their traps might not be as high level as mines are. So when they use their traps, it might not be as effective for them. So they have to use more of their materials that they get from ventures to craft more traps for ventures. And then they can't do what they need to do. And God forbid, they're early game players. They might not have the loadouts that I have. And even for me, having the loadouts is tedious as is. I'm able to beat it, but they might not be able to because they might not have the loadouts that they need to beat it efficiently. You peep what I'm saying? So there's a lot of problems that come into you heavily relying on traps. But this venture season, it is basically the only way you can, because your weapons are bad. And even if they weren't bad, they can't be as efficient as they would be because of the modifiers. So you have to use traps. And because you have to use traps, you basically have to use constructors. And because you have to use constructors, you realistically need a whole team. But because this venture season is so tedious, you might not even find the people that you need. I just hope y'all can see where I'm coming from with this. There's a collective sense of problems that comes from, honestly, the maps being bad, or just the fact that materials are just hard to come by. And I don't know if that's just me, if this is just me seeing how tedious this is. I can't sit through ventures. Normally I can't even finish it, and that's not even including the fact that you need so much XP to finish it. You have to sit through so much of ventures because the missions are difficult. You have to have a dedicated loadout. So certain missions where you gotta find this, you gotta find that, you gotta break this, you gotta break that. You'd be great using an Outlander, but if you're soloing a mission, you realistically can't use an Outlander. You gotta use a constructor, my boy, or else you're gonna get dropped off by some smashers. And even if you wanted to use an Outlander, you're not gonna get the materials that you need because you can't kill anything. So you still need to use a constructor. I won't say that us being able to craft our weapons will fix this problem, but I will say it would help. I'm not sure what would be the solution to fixing this problem in ventures, because if you try and fix this problem, you end up making it too easy. But it might be super hard already as is for early game players. But I think what ventures is a challenge for the late game players. It's a challenge for the end game players. So to a certain extent, I think ventures is fine as is, and they've honestly did the best that they could while keeping it as difficult as it could be. But I say for me that it's extremely tedious to have to go in later on in the season and having it to solo these things. And I think the reason being as to why it's as tedious for me is because I have to solo these things. If I had a team, I think ventures would be a lot better for me specifically. My experience would be a lot better. I think that goes for any venture season. If you have a team, you'll have the time to go out and get the mats that you need so that you can craft your traps, so that you can use whatever traps that you need to trap up a mission. You got teammates. They can choose a side around whatever objective you're doing. Like, it doesn't have to be a solo mission every single time. You only need one constructor. And if one person is running constructor, everybody can run set loadouts to where they can either run a minigun or run a dragon slash or run an outlander to help trap up efficiently. Like, and I think that goes for any game mode. You want to have dedicated loadouts. That's always how the game is supposed to be played. But ventures is that to the highest degree. It's supposed to be as difficult as is. So kudos to them for doing that. And I think for me, just being an unhappy camper, I just need to suck it up and just be better. Just do better. Anyways, that's it for this video, y'all. It's been stretching out for honestly long enough. And also, let me know what you guys think about ventures in the comment section below. Let me know if y'all are gonna be able to finish ventures, because me personally, I might try and stretch it out this season, but I might not, because it's really tedious for me. I might not be able to sit through it. Whew. Just trying to traverse this map with the damn hoverboards. I've already said something about mobility in one of my previous videos about Fortnite. That's just a problem in general with Save the World, just mobility and everything. But it's been wearing me out, I ain't gonna lie. But I'll see y'all in the next video.